Today, we're going to talk about why it is that you have more control than you think. So you're in a group called Manifest Your New Mindset. So it's no surprise to you that everything that I'm going to be sharing with you ties in to how you're thinking, how you're operating, and how that in turn is manifesting the experiences that you have in your life. So I want to start by just sharing a quick little story, or a piece of a story about one of my clients. I'm not going to use his name, but let's just say Bill. Okay, I'm going to use a fake name. So, and that's because he's in this group and I haven't asked his permission yet. So, and we were recently talking. And so what is so amazing about coaching Bill is he's getting all this clarity around how powerful his mind is, around how powerful his thoughts, his focus, his manifestation powers have been, without him even realizing it or using the laws of attraction and manifestation on purpose. You hear that? Like, he wasn't using it on purpose. Because here's the thing, whether you're doing it on purpose or not, you are always manifesting the experiences that you have in your life. So the key is learning how to do it on purpose. And so he's one of my private clients. And also he's gone through my online course called the Get Set Method. If you want to know more about that method, type here in the comments. If you want to know more about that method and that self-paced online course, just let me know in the comments and I will reply to you. So one of the things that he was getting clarity around was the fact that as a child, there was a certain way that he was brought up, and there was a certain interpretation that he had, and we all do this as kids, regardless of our experience. We interpret and we make decisions for our life and how we're going to go forward in life based on how we interpret something. So he interpreted the way his father and his parents, mostly his father, but also his parents, were doing things as the wrong way. And he didn't want anything to do with the way they had a relationship, with the way they worked, all the way down to, you know, the fact that his mother made his clothes and his dad did all the repairs in the house. And he was so driven to, I'm going to buy all my things. I'm going to hire people to do these things for me. And basically, I'm going to be in control of my finances, and I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm never going to have to live like that, so to speak. This is separate from the relationship piece. We'll just focus on that part of the insight that he's getting. And if this resonates with you, let me know in the comments, put a like or anything like that. Throw in something in the comments so that I know that you are with me here. So what he did is he spent his life focused on the fact that he was going to make a lot of money, be financially set, and never have to worry about money or struggle like his parents did. Now, here's the key. He had no resistant thoughts around that. None. Because he was so laser focused and he knew that he was going to make that his mission. Now, the opposite can be said for people who grow up in that situation, right? Even though they say that they're going to do that, they may have resistance around it because they don't believe it's possible for them. And so what we say and what we feel and believe, if they don't line up, you don't manifest what it is you say you want. It's not just about words, but that's just a little aside to this. The point in this story is that this person, Bill, was so focused and so on point with this, he had no resistance, that is the way he ended up living his life and manifesting his life, to the point where now he's of a certain age, he doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to. Now, here's what you learn when you do the Get Set method that I just talked about and that he went through, is you start to evaluate, okay, where did that mindset come from, right? And how has it served me? How has it harmed me, right? Because there can be that to everything that we experience, right? The double-sided sword, the double-edged sword, so to speak. And then there's a piece where the question is, how is it serving me now? And how is it harming me or holding me back now? So this is evaluating an idea or a belief that you have generated for yourself, right? So his belief was that he had to work, be driven, and shut everyone else out so that he wasn't distracted. Here's the thing. It served him. It absolutely served him, and at least gave him that drive to create a different future for himself, which has accomplished everything he set out to have it accomplish. You know, he has the money, he's got, you know, he's well taken care of. He doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to. He has all the things, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, none of this is bad. Okay. So if you're judging money, be careful of that. And look around you and see if that's the thing that's preventing money, wealth, and abundance from being in your life. So that is what he was focused on, but at the expense of everything else, relationships, health, all of that. So now the point that he's at in his life, as he's working with me as his coach, is what do I want to manifest now? Because now he realizes how powerful of a manifester he really is. And so that's just like a broad overview of it. But when we look back and evaluate things in his life, it's like, oh, wow, you said this is what you wanted. You did X, Y, and Z. All these other things were thrown in the mix, but your focus was so clear. You didn't have any resistance around it. And you were just in the zone, in the vortex, as we call it. And so that was an easy manifestation for him. And that truly is how manifestation works. It's how law of attraction works. And now that he is aware of how he did that, now he gets to purposely work on manifesting what he does want, So some of you may know that I am certified under Tony Robbins in his strategic intervention life coaching. And one of the things that he teaches in that model is all around emotions, right? 3 patterns of emotions. And he says that we go to our emotions. Okay, listen to this because it's really important and it ties in to everything that I teach about mindset, law of attraction, and manifesting. Okay, because Here's what I teach and what you'll hear me say all the time over and over and over again. And it's the basic laws of law of attraction. Whatever you think about repeatedly, I'm not just talking about thoughts that come and go, because on any given day, we have thousands, if not millions of thoughts. Those thoughts that come and go, like our thoughts don't control us. It's the thoughts that we choose to replay that end up controlling us, right? So you don't have to be afraid of your thoughts. Like think about it. If you're ever sitting down meditating or just relaxing, all kinds of thoughts come into your head. Oh, look, there's a bird. Oh man, I got to go to the grocery store. Wow, I want to really focus now. Oh, what was that sound? Right? So thoughts come constantly, but you don't take that one thought and just stop and stay on it, right? Like, oh my God, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go to and like harp on the fact that you have to go to the grocery store. You allow the thought to come in, you get back to it later, or the bird that flew by or something like that. But there's other thoughts that we do allow ourselves to focus on with such intensity and repetition. And those are the thoughts that end up becoming our beliefs. Once you start believing something, and make sure you get that connection, it's repetitive thoughts that are the same that end up becoming your belief. Once you start believing something, it becomes your reality. It just does. That's why so many people are experiencing different realities. So bring it back to what I was saying about the 3 patterns of emotion that Tony Robbins talks about, because I know this can be very useful for you. If you're someone who gets caught up in your emotions, or you've ever said or often say, you know, I'm depressed, or I just can't do it, or, you know, things are never working out for me. It's just one thing after the other, you know, this, that, and the other. If you find yourself in those thoughts, I want you to go through this 3-step process. Okay. So, and this comes directly from Tony Robbins. He says, you actually go to your emotion. Your emotion doesn't just happen to you. You're not just automatically or all of a sudden happy or sad or depressed or angry. That doesn't come first. It's what you think about that comes first and creates the emotion. It also creates the body language. It creates the language. So let's go through this step by step. Think of something right now that has been like controlling you, whether that's depression, anger, fear, whatever it is. Think of an emotion. Begin to notice how you are doing your emotions. Okay, so that's a verb, how you are doing your emotions. So in this Human Needs Psychology by Tony Robbins and Chloe Medanes, they say that the emotions don't come out of nowhere, right? They don't just happen, like I said. We choose them, and we do it with our physiology. We do it with our body, okay? So what you can take note of is in a situation like that, if you're feeling depressed, for instance, your posture. So what are you doing with your posture? Are you starting to slump over, drop your shoulders? Or do you notice you're kind of tensing your shoulders? You know, when you're angry, are you like tensing your shoulders? Are you standing up taller? Are you pushing your chest out, right? That's a common posture with anger, just like slouching and looking down is a common posture with depression. Then tap into your breathing. Okay, so you're going to do these things when you find yourself in that situation. Take note of your posture, then take note of your breathing. Is it getting shallow? Is it getting faster? Is it getting slower? What are you doing with your hands? Are you tensing them? Are you hiding them in your pocket? Are you crossing your arms, right? What about your jaw? Are you clenching it? What are all the ways in which your body is beginning to do your emotions, right? So you start to get that emotion based on what you've been thinking about, and then you start to do it, right? Like, I'm really pissed now. And you get that, you know, puffed out chest, the tense shoulders, or, oh God, I'm so depressed, right? Your body starts to move into it. You go to it. Okay, so that's step one. You're noticing what you're doing. Step two is take note of what you're focusing on in that moment. What we know for sure is that whatever we focus on, we're going to feel. Listen to this. It's so obvious and so simple, but sometimes people just completely miss it. What you focus on, you feel. You cannot feel happy if you're focused on feeling sad. It just doesn't work. So notice what you're focusing on. And then third, pay attention to the language that you're using in that moment. Whether it's language you're using out loud, you're verbalizing, or things that you're saying to yourself, right? So what words or phrases are you repeating? And what are you talking about? Like, I say this to people all the time. Take note of what you're saying on a regular basis. What do people around you constantly hear from you? Are you one of those people who, when you say, hey, how you doing? Well, you know, things are, you know, not that great. You know, this happened. I've been sick, and my kids, this and that. And you go down this long list of all your problems. Believe me, the people listening to you on the inside are thinking, here we go again, right? So what's the energy that you're bringing, and what's the language that you're using? Is the language you're using, the words and the phrases that you normally use, are there certain words and phrases that you use when you're in that emotion? So like if it's anger, I'm sure there's certain words that you use all the time. If it's depression, there's certain words that you use. I'm just tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to give up. I just don't care anymore, right? So notice what are the common words that you use when you're in that emotional state. Okay. And so once you're aware of your physiology in the moment, once you realize like what you're doing with your body, what you're focusing on and the language that you're using, then you have a choice in that moment. You have a choice in that moment to make a change, manage that emotion, whether it's like, let me change my posture, let me slow my breathing down, let me change the words I'm using. You have a choice. You can shift in that moment because everyone on here is an adult. So we understand and we can make those decisions. So for example, for me, whenever I find myself feeling stressed or anxious, like maybe I'm on a deadline or my kids are fighting in the background, that happened several times this summer. The first thing I notice is the tension in my body. I start to clench my jaws, my shoulders get tight, right? And if I can notice that and not run away with it, I can usually change it in an instant. I'll just take a deep breath, drop my shoulders, and let my jaw relax. And as soon as I make that change, right, one of those three changes, the language, the physiology, and the focus, then it's easier for me to change the other two things. Okay. And instead of focusing on the fact that I'm on a deadline or that the kids are fighting, I can shift it into, okay, yes, I'm on a deadline, but let me focus on what I've actually accomplished. Let me write a list of everything I've gotten done so far for this. And that starts to shift me out of that tension of stress or anxiousness, right? Same thing with the kids. Okay, how can I just gently ease in, problem solve, change my language? I'm not going to go in there and call them like a bunch of inconsiderate brats because that's going to put me back into that feeling, right? Into that mindset. So what this tells us, these three patterns of emotion, what it tells us is exactly what I was speaking about before, which is the fact that we have so much more control over our thoughts, not just our thoughts, but we have so much control over the outcome of where something's going to go. Now, I know some of you listening are going to say, we don't really have that much control. Things happen in life. Yes, I get that. Yes, we don't have universal control in that regard. Absolute control, for sure we don't. There's so much that we don't even understand. And there's so much about our brain that we don't even use. But there's also so much that we can be using that we do have control of that we are not. And so when I talk to people who are telling me that, they can't get what they want in their lives, or, I've just been trying, Jessica, but like everything is hard. As soon as I start to hear that everything is hard, I know what that person is always focusing on, or the majority of the time. They're focusing on the fact that things are hard. And when you start to have a practice thought, that thought attracts more thoughts that are like it. And so it will prove to you time and time again, yes, that things are hard, because that's what you are in essence looking for. By using that language and having those beliefs, that's all that you're attracting more of. That is law of attraction. There's no other way. There's just no way you can attract something positive in your life if you're focused on the negative. It just doesn't happen. It's like my mentor, Esther Hicks, says, it's like tuning your radio station to 93.7 and trying to hear what's being played on 106.1. You can't do it. You're on the wrong frequency. You've got to get in the right frequency. You've got to get in that vibration. So I hope that something here I shared was beneficial. I'm going to look on my phone and see if we have any comments. Hi, Stephanie. Awesome. Hi, Nicole. Yes, 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 yes. I love what Stephanie says. Sometimes our thoughts can feel like a runaway train. I need to look on my phone because streaming from Zoom, I can't see the comments. They will be like a runaway train. Absolutely, they'll be like a runaway train. You get to decide, is it a runaway train that gets you to where you want to go, or is it a runaway train in the opposite direction? Right? So you get to choose the thoughts and create some momentum to generate more thoughts like it so that you're moving in the direction you want to go. So that you're moving in the right. So if you're wanting that relationship, that romantic partner, but all you're ever talking about or focused on is the fact that there's no good men left, or, you know, relationships are terrible, or you're bad at relationships, or I just can't figure it out, or you're still focused on the one that didn't work out and replaying it over and over and over again, that train is going the opposite way of where you say you want to go. So when you find yourself in that situation, just stop for a second. You don't have to judge yourself. It's not about judgment. This is feedback for you. This is feedback. Okay, wait a minute. What am I thinking? What am I saying? What's my body doing? What am I focusing on? Okay, this is obviously not going to point me to where I want to go. So I love that you bring up the runaway train. I think that is so useful, Stephanie. Love, 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 love that. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Chris. Hi, Xavier. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to meet you, Xavier and Chris. So many people that are on this thread are joining me in September at the Zone event. And if you don't know what the Zone event is, put it in the comments so that I can reach out to you. If you are an entrepreneur, or you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to manifest a lifestyle where you work for yourself from anywhere that you want to. Right now I'm in Oregon, and I say often on here, I can't believe it, I have clients in 8 different countries. And I get to work wherever I want to work, whenever I want to work, and live the lifestyle that I live and love. This is something that I manifested, and you can too. So if you're interested in joining all of these really cool people here in the thread, then come out and join us. Hi, Nat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Nicole's going to be there. Who else is going to be there? Vicky's going to be there. I would love for Stephanie to come. Stephanie and I are going to talk. Stephanie, go back and watch the replay. I think there's a lot there that you're going to enjoy. So I just want to tell you all that, or remind you all that I'm here live inside of the group every Thursday at 4 p.m. The more you show up and engage with me live, the more fired up I get and the more excited I am to be here with you. Also, post in the comments or in the discussion, what do you want to know more about when it comes to mindset, when it comes to accomplishing your goals, when it comes to law of attraction, when it comes to manifesting? What is it that you are really, interested in? What is it that you want to explore more? Let's explore together. So put it in the comments, put it in the thread, and let's keep the momentum, the positive momentum going. This is a community of high vibe manifestors. You may not know it yet, but you manifested being in this group. So big things are coming for you. Okay, you guys, I'm going to sign off because I get to welcome my friend and her family. They're coming to visit us on the farm. Little side note, this person who's coming to visit me, Sasha Sterling, look her up, an amazing business coach as well. She is the one who invited me to come to the Zone event last year. That was the first time I was going. I hadn't known her. I met her online, just like you and I are meeting online. I took the risk. I made the investment in myself, got the tickets, went, and I'm telling you, It was one of the best decisions I ever made. And now we're great friends. So I leave you with that. I'm a little bit over time. I like to keep this at 20 minutes. And again, thank you all for joining me, and post your comments and questions in the thread. All right, everyone. Bye.